Post June 1st cut dates. Let's talk about it, and let's talk about who's available. So right away, I do want to start off with the rule of what post June 1st is and why it matters. Pretty simply, every team can designate two players to be post June 1st cuts, which means they reap the benefits of being able to cut the players at the start of free agency. And then, of course, after June 1st, those players, again, they're already cut. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this. So, when a player is cut from a team around the start of free agency, the calculations is pretty straightforward. All future prorated money and salary guarantees accelerate onto the salary cap and become what is referred to as dead money for a team. In some cases, the number can be very large, so large that it prohibitive to release a player due to salary cap purposes. To help fight back against this, basically having a black hole roster spots created by the cap, the NFL created a distinction in how a release is treated if made after June 1st in any given year. Starting on June 2nd, any player who is released will have any future prorations land in the following season. The guarantees would still accelerate rather than the current season, and this can have a dramatic impact on a cap charge. So this is why, again, it is so important to cut players post June 1st, and why when June 1st does happen, we see like an absolute plethora of players available, because teams wait to be able to do this. You can only have two players designated to be cut post June 1st going into free agency. For example, let's say a player has 4 years remaining on his contract and a $5 million in prorated charges in each of those seasons. If he was cut prior to June 1st, that would lead to a $20 million in dead money this year. If cut post June 1st, the player would instead just have a $5 million. The player would instead just $5 million in dead cap in 2023 and $15 million in 2024, while the same number over 2 seasons the team has in out rather than being stuck due to the salary cap. So pretty much instead of having to do it this year, you can kind of push that money off to next year as long as you cut them post June 1st or you designate them for a post June 1st cut. This requires a team to carry a player until June on the roster. During that time, the player may earn an optional bonus, roster bonus, workout bonus, increasing his dead money and making the June 1st worthless. This is what led the NFL to create the designations of you're going to be cut post June 1st. And that, of course, means you can take two players and say, hey, listen, you guys are going to get cut right now. Go enjoy free agency. Go sign with whoever you want to sign with. But right now, we don't want you on our roster anymore, and we don't want to pay you the signing, the roster bonuses and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the summary of what a post June 1st cut is. It just lets you be able to go ahead and get rid of some players and not have to worry about it this year. Now, starting off right away, we don't know exactly who every team is going to cut post June 1st. Obviously, at the end of the day, that is usually, most of the time, it's older veterans. Mainly because, these guys have contracts that they signed when they were a little bit younger, and those contracts are no longer worth it to the team. So the team said, hey, listen, we'll take a little bit of dead money if we can just move on from this said player. So, again, we'll have to wait and see who that ends up being. But right now, free agency is still somewhat of a cesspool. We've talked about this thing. The last time we talked about free agency was around maybe a month and a half ago. But it was still a cesspool back then, and it's still a cesspool now. But you got to keep in mind, the Bengals do usually pick someone up in Wave 4 of free agency. Wave 4 is after June 1st cut dates. So this is kind of the time period where the Bengals usually get a little bit active. We actually signed Trent Brown right around this time period as well 2 years ago. So 2 years ago. Last year we signed Trent Brown at this time period. I don't know why I said 2 years ago. Last year we did. So it's right around this time period where, we start to kind of look into free agency. We talked about recently we actually did pick up, or we brought in, the defensive tackle from the Pittsburgh Steelers. We gave him a workout to see how he would do. Apparently, it did not work out in the end. I don't know why he's not on free agency here. But we didn't work out in the end. We ended up letting him go. It is what it is. But, again, I'm not going to be surprised if over the next week or so, we start seeing a lot of players starting to get picked or talked about or picked up or not picked up, but brought in for workouts. So, but right now, there's still options available. It's Brandon Scherf, who at this point, I guess, might retire. We'll have to see on that one if he retires or not. Shaq Mason. Will Hernandez is still available, which does interest me a lot. And the more time he's available, the more I feel like Cincinnati's going to start looking at him. Which, I know we talked about Jalen Rivers the other day and how versatile he is, but it would be nice to have a veteran right guard or left guard on this team. Not just have Cordell Volson or try to hope out for, Cody Ford to work at right guard. It'd be nice to have someone we can truly trust going into week 1. Dalton Risner is still available as well. So, again, there's still options available, and there's going to be more options once June 1st cuts happen. So, should be exciting for that. Another position, again, we talked about many times, safety. It's another position I would love for us to target in free agency here, especially because you got to look at one thing, right? Recently, we have cut so many, or not cut, we have had players take pay cuts. Not cut. We actually really haven't cut anybody. But we have had players take pay cuts, right? Zach Moss took a pay cut. Geno Stone took a pay cut. Cordell Volson took a pay cut. We keep doing this, and we know post June 1st, we're probably going to end up cutting Jermaine Pratt, saving another $8 million. We have all this money. Are we just going to sit here and not use it? Clearly we're not trying to save it to give it to, Trey Hendrickson. So if that's the case, then let's go out there and sign some of these guys, especially if Trey's going to sit this year and not play. We need these guys to potentially join our roster and hopefully help us out in some capacity. Again, if we're not gonna have Trey, we need someone else. Javion Clowney's still available. He recently actually got cut. So, again, I just want to talk about this now because we have a couple of days, 4 days before June 1st. And it's going to get a little bit crazy on here, okay? It's going to get a little crazy on this free agency. This cesspool is about to get some pee in it. So, guys, tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.